or current, any military veterans, active or retired, any any firefighters. I guess we'll let you sit at the big boy table today. I want to thank you for all of your dedication and all that you do to keep our communities safe the way they are. My name is Jeremy Charlo. I was a police officer in Mahomet, Illinois for about 12 and a half years. I was a SWAT operator. I was a chemical agent response team member. I trained regularly. I trained hard. I was an alcohol compliance officer, and I led my department in felony arrests. I took my job seriously. I cared about making sure I was operationally effective. I practiced relentlessly. I read books, I studied. I ended up getting my master's degree in legal studies to ensure that I knew what I was talking about. I believed I had trained and that I would overcome any obstacle that came in front of me. I went to seminars, read books. One of the seminars at the Illinois Tactical Officers Association, Lieutenant Colonel Dave Grossman was speaking. Do y'all know who he is? Black Hawk Down. Have you seen the movie? He was one of the soldiers that went in and tried to rescue the pilots from that downed helicopter. He spoke about a concept called killology. He defined killology as the scholarly study of a destructive act. He talked about muscle memory and how by practicing and training repeatedly, you can make it so that your actions are second nature and you can alleviate some of the probability of being injured in an attack. Again, I bought into it 100%. All of my training was great. I thought I was a badass, deadly SWAT operator. I had the ninja suit, whole 9 yards. I thought I was a badass. I was proficient on multiple weapons platforms. I was accurate. I carried a gun, a backup gun, a knife, a backup knife, a taser, all the equipment you could possibly think of. On May 7th, 2016, all of my training was put to the test. At about 10:52, I tried to make a traffic stop on a vehicle. The driver had no headlights on. Most cops, if there are any in the crowd, what are you doing at 10:52 when you're getting off at 11? You got your blinders on. You're not looking for anything. I turned around. I got behind the vehicle as he pulled into a driveway. He pulled into the driveway, so I thought, no harm, no foul. You know, the whole community policing thing. I'll just let this guy know that his lights aren't working. He'll go on with his day. Somebody else had another plan. As soon as I rolled down the window to let him know that his headlights were out, a third party yelled an expletive I won't share with you, and my name. Somebody called me out by name just because I rolled down a window and pulled up to him. Do y'all know what a pucker factor is? Somebody said it over here. Yeah, I felt it. I tried to get out of my car, but before I could get out of my car, he was already on top of me. I was trapped between the door and the B post, So he was right in front of me as he started punching and hitting me in the head and the neck. I continued to try to fight him off. Got on my radio, tried to ask for help. Radio changed, couldn't get out. Couldn't even ask for help. I saw my taser. I tased him in the chest. Didn't work. He walked through the taser. Another pucker moment. I used the taser in its drive stun mode, which is used for pain compliance, just to basically push the man away from me. I was able to get a little bit of distance between the two of us. And as I backed away, I put my hand up and I yelled, "Stop, stop." The next thing I felt was like a sledgehammer hitting me in my right arm. It burned. I knew I was shot instantly. It hit me in my dominant arm, my right arm. It's my firing arm. I was able to draw my weapon still and return fire. The next thing I remember is taking a knee as the slide locked back. I couldn't tell you how many, well, I could because there's how many the gun holds, but I wasn't counting like you're supposed to. I wasn't following that. I was just trying to get through it. When the slide locked back, I looked down range, and he was getting up off the ground. I thought to myself, I need to find cover. I ran to my squad car right away as he ran into the house, and I thought to myself, a squad car, that's a bullet magnet. My training again told me that wasn't cover, it was only concealment. So I looked to a nearby brick building. I got behind the brick building. I looked at my arm. I looked at my pistol. I looked at my arm. I'm like, man. And then I was just calm because I felt like I wasn't done yet. I had to continue. I remembered that there's still somebody on the other side of this building who just tried to kill me and may try to kill others. I pied the corner. I made sure I could see who was coming, and I tried to set up a perimeter. Although I was shot and bleeding, I called over my radio, METCAD 6 George 22, shots fired, I'm hit. There was no response. Nobody answered. METCAD 6 George 22, shots fired, I'm hit. And then everything lit up like a Christmas tree. Everybody came. As I pied the corner, I saw the man come out of the house. He was carrying an AK-47. I looked at my pistol in my hand. I looked at my bullet wound. I looked at the pistol again. I looked at his AK-47. Nope. I got behind cover and I stayed there. This allowed the man a little bit of time. He got into a vehicle. He rammed before he got into the vehicle, he proceeded to unload that AK-47 into my squad car, shooting my driver's seat up, my MDC, the steering column. The rounds of the 7.62 went through both sides of the vehicle. Had I went back to that vehicle, I might not be standing here right now. Training, repetition. With this pause, he was able to flee the scene. He rammed his truck into my squad car, fled the scene, got out of there. I did everything right that night. I defended myself. I was properly trained. I was cleared by the state's attorney. I was cleared by the state police task force. But why didn't I feel right? In 2015, Forbes magazine published a study stating 143 firefighters took their own lives in 2015. BlueHelp.org, an organization dedicated to eradicating police suicide, as of October 5th, verified 163 suicides this year alone. Military.com estimates between 2018 and 2017, 60,000 veterans died by suicide. These numbers do not include our losses to our other brothers and sisters, our first responders, our paramedics, and our EMS. With all the training, I never considered my mental health. How I would respond after an incident, how I would react in the aftermath of the incident. Now here I am, recovering from a shooting alone in my house. I was scared of my shadow. I feared anybody at any time was going to and would be successful at killing me. The nightmares were the worst, though. The nightmares, they were so real. I would wake up drenched in sweat. I could smell the gunpowder. I could feel the wound in my arm. The nightmares made it so I wasn't unable to sleep. In about a week's period, I calculated that I slept for about 20 minutes at a time over an 8-hour period. I began hallucinating. The hallucinations were always of my shooting or some aspect of my shooting. They were horrible. This led me to seek mental help. I went and saw a doctor, shrink, whatever you want to call him. I decided that I was worth being here. After I started singing the shrink, they started giving me medications to help with the nightmares, the depression, and everything associated with it. However, it didn't work. The phone call stopped. I told too many people that I was okay. I told one too many people that, hey, you know, I'm fine. I didn't reply to one too many phone calls. I didn't reply to the text saying, yes, I need help. And the phone call stopped. As the phone call stopped, I started drinking more heavily to make sure I could overcome the feelings. Well, when you mix medication and alcohol, nothing good happens. I was alone in the room when I put the weapon in my mouth. I remember thinking of my family, my parents, my friends. I remember how the gun oil tasted. I'll never forget it. I was an embarrassment. Why couldn't I handle this? Other officers do. Why couldn't I? While I stand here right now, I still cannot tell you why I didn't pull that trigger that night. What I can tell you is that you're not alone. Anything any of you all have seen, someone else has seen it too. I'm not the first one that's been shot. I know that. I'm also not the first one to have struggles with it. But it does no good if you don't seek the help out yourself. We all talk about brotherhood and camaraderie in our professions. We talk about how we're our brother's keepers and how we want to be there for one another. Yet, when it really matters, do you do the buddy check? I'm not talking a text message that says, hey, buddy, you okay? Ha, ha, ha. I'm not talking a simple phone call. I'm talking, have you done a buddy check? Have you showed up at your friend's house? Listen to him, her. Really find out what they're feeling and if they need help. I don't know about you, but I would take that 15 minutes to make sure somebody's son, daughter, brother, sister, aunt, uncle knows they're not alone. We all talk about brotherhood and doing the buddy checks. Have you done your buddy check? Actions are always greater than talk. Again, I want to thank everybody for coming out here. If you or know anybody who needs help or you yourself need help, I'm going to be here for the rest of the night. I can put you in touch with resources that can help. Please reach out. You are not alone. Together we can beat PTSD.
All right.